Boy oh boy, where do I even begin about my Pookie Bear MKX? MKX, I think, is pretty widely regarded as the greatest Mortal Kombat game, and I wholeheartedly agree. It's my favorite fighting game of all time, and the game that even started my fighting game interest. I would have lived a normal, happy life if it wasn't for MKX, in other words. So, why is that? Why is it held in such high regard? Why is it my favorite fighting game to goon to? So in this video, I kind of just want to suck the metaphorical cock of MKX and talk about every way I think that this game was, pause for dramatic effect, epic. But first, dog break. So first up here we have Brody. He loves this pink little pig. He loves all kinds of pigs. Doesn't matter the color. Not a racist guy. Throw it up for him. He actually doesn't catch it there, but he's actually usually pretty good at catching it. So I'll take the blame for that one. Shitty throw. Not much he can do about it on his end. This is Bailey. This is me teasing her a little bit, blue balling her with a chocolate chip cookie, chocolate chunk, double chunk chocolate cookie. And yeah, just a little silly moment like, you can't have that, Bailey. Silly little dog, you can't have chocolate. I love these dogs. End of dog break. So before I ever even touched MKX, the only other fighting game experience I personally had was like 2 hours of a shitty Ermac on MK9 that I played with a friend. And me fighting to decrease the wage gap. Let's go, women. Now I have since became an avid fighting game player. Here's a quick list of games I've played. Pause if you need to. Whoever paused just now was a bitch. And I do plan to make an MK11 and an MK1 video at some point to give my opinion on both of those games as well. As somebody who really loves this series, I think it's only fair if we cover the last three, the big three. I don't actually remember the first time I played MKX or why I even did or why I even stuck to it, It's been so long now. I was 15 when this game came out, and I've smoked enough weed to kill a man and scrolled through 8 hours of TikTok yesterday. My memory is cooked.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! 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 Boom!
But anyway, MKX good, yeah. I think the biggest thing I have to point out with this game is its pacing, right? This game is the Usain Bolt of NetherRealm games. Going all the way back to MK9, MKX is the only game that had a literal sprint button in it where you could just assert maximum fear and aura into your opponent. This sped up this game a lot and made it 10 times more interesting than it otherwise would have been. I mean, if you take a look at this game compared to something like Injustice 2, the pacing couldn't be further on opposite ends of the spectrum, you know what I mean? And I liked Injustice 2, but it was so satisfying doing running combos with Cassie Cage. I remember how hard it was for my virgin fingers to get the hang of it at first. Like, what do you mean I have to forward, fucking block, fucking mid-time my fucking combo with people falling through the air? Somebody learning their first fighting game, this was like fucking Elon fucking nuts. The dash cancels of characters like Devora or Jax were just mwah. Another thing I really loved about this game the future games took away is neutral jump punches launching for a combo. Such a small little detail, but I loved it because it was like a universal relaunch for combos and made jumping just more of something to be scared about. Encouraged more footsies, even though some characters like Ferritor had a full screen one, which maybe looking back wasn't the most okay thing ever. But yeah, I mean, again, comparing this to Injustice 2, which is weird, but Injustice 2 had the back threes and forward threes. They were kind of like the universal relaunch for combos in that game, and that's so much less steez. It just maximized the sauce out of your combo, you know what I mean? Whereas in the other games, it's kind of like it's absolutely sucking the sauce out of your combos. Do you know what I think MKX did perfectly though? It tethered the line of a balanced fighting game and a crazy what the fuck is happening fighting game perfectly. In my opinion, if a game is completely balanced, then it is not fun. There has to be some give and pull. Some games pull this off better than others, and ultimately, it's all personal taste and what you consider fun. But this game is the one true key. Another thing I want to speak to as far as the gameplay in this game is this game was not so much strike throw based the way MK11 or MK1 is. This game, people had overhead low mix-ups, 50-50 mix-ups beyond just throwing. I mean, honestly, throwing wasn't used nearly as much as it was used in later titles. And as far as this game just being crazy, when I say it's like balanced but not, like look at this shit from Quan Chi where he just gets infinite armor on any move, but he has to summon a portal out, and you know it's crazy shit though. And Quan Chi himself is just like the best zoner in the game, but he also fucking has 50-50 mix up, so and hard to blockables. So yeah, pretty crazy. Like Trimmer here, he can go low, 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 or he could go low, low overhead, or he could go low overhead, or which it's reactable. But then you have characters like Quan Chi who could just do a combo, put you in a vortex, and then 50-50 mix you, and then loop it forever. But they balanced it pretty well. Like characters like Ermac, he lived and died by just vortexing you with 50-50s, but if you blocked the 50-50 correctly, they just died. So I don't think it was like too crazy, and honestly, I think it's way more fun than strike throw based mix up. I'm gonna make a whole video about that one day, explaining my views of why I hate strike throw, and every fighting game does it anymore. So it sucks. But yes, this game was much more focused on actual mix, and it was pretty cool. Characters like Liu Kang, it got pretty gross. I almost forgot to mention this somehow, but the meter system in this game was perfect. For some reason in MK11, they made it horrible. I can't wait to make that MK11 video because I'm gonna shit all over that game, man. But in this game, you had 3 bars. If you had 3 bars, you would do X-rays. You wouldn't see X-rays very much, because why would you? But they still had their niche uses. Some of them you could combo into or out of. Some of them had brutalities. I think this game did brutalities the best of any of them in the series, because at least in this game, you can combo into grab brutalities. In this game, you can combo into grabs, and you can do uppercuts and still keep your combo, both of which are super sick. The grab one, you could spend a bar and reset them almost for like a restand. It wasn't that great, but what was cool about it is you could end your combo in a grab and get your brutality. You know what I mean? Or it was another way to avoid like a combo break, because you can't combo break the grab. But in future games, if you want to do grab brutality, you just have to walk up and grab them. Like, it's so lame. It would be so much cooler if you do like a 40% combo, grab them, get your brutal, you know what I mean? But yeah, meter system was perfect. You didn't see supers being spammed everywhere like Fatal Blow in the later games. I'm sure you're all familiar with that fucking Fatal Blow bullshit, so... MKX also supported debatably the best Mortal Kombat roster to date, other than Armageddon, which Armageddon's kind of cheating a little bit because they had like fucking 40, 50, 60, 70, 90 characters, whatever the fuck in it. And I wish they'd go back to that. I love huge fighting game rosters, and it's not like MKX is necessarily the hugest roster. It actually only had 32 characters, 24 base, 8 DLC. And MK11 actually had 37 playable characters, 25 base, 12 DLC. And MK1 started with 22 base. So MK1 actually had a little bit less than MKX on launch, but I'd say with all the combat packs, it's roughly the same, maybe a little over. Point is though, not their biggest roster, but what MKX did perfectly is what characters they chose. You know what I mean? It wasn't like MK11 where they stifled you out of fan favorites. It wasn't like MK1 where I think MK1, I don't want to talk about it too much. It's not the video for it. I think they did have a good roster in that game though. But man, we got motherfucking Jason fucking Voorhees. Motherfucking Leatherface. Tiny little fucker, Leatherface, little tiny fucker. Look at this little tiny fucker. Alien. Farting Asian guy. And my favorite MK character of all time, Trimmer.
Brutality. That's wrong. Trimmer wins.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I excessively masturbate way too often. This is a serious issue. This is a cry for help. Please cut off my fucking phalanges. Put an end to me, please. So as I said earlier, I hold this game near and dear to me, mostly because this game got me into fighting games. It was like my first love, and even though I had to leave her, I will always miss her butt crack juice, you know? Learning fighting games, or anything new for that matter, is no small task, and I plan to make a video about why I think learning fighting games is one of the hardest, longest, girthiest journeys you can take. But I stuck through it. And one of the reasons I stuck through it, I have to give credit where credit's due, is this game had one of the most epic fucking competitive scenes I've ever dealt with in any game. And we cannot talk about the competitive scene of MKX without talking about this person right here, Sonic Fox. Boy, oh boy, where do I even start with Sonic Fox? Sonic Fox was the king of this game, and it was not even close. Sonic Fox was like Michael Jordan, LeBron James of MKX. I mean, this is the level this guy was on. It's like his body and his mind was perfectly engineered in a lab to play this video game and nothing else. I mean, if you're watching this video, you probably already know this, but I mean, this dude literally 13-0'd a former EVO champion. Do you know how crazy that is? Dude, I could hop online, and I know you guys do too. You hop online, you lose to people, and you're like, how'd I lose to that guy? I'm better than that guy. But maybe you are better than that guy in some ways, but he's doing a move you're not familiar with or something like that. Dude, Sonic Fox is so good that he 13-0'd a former EVO champion. You couldn't 13-0 your grandma, bro. You know what I mean? This is like next level shit right here.
So it's been about 4 years since I've played you in about 4 different games. I played you in DOA, I played you in MK9, I've been Justice, MKX.
Oh my god.
I've won in every single one, man. I've won in every single one. Hold up.
But I have to mention it because it was so cool to watch, man. As somebody who was new to the game, to just like get on there and see somebody who was so good. He was wearing this little fox hat, and Sonic just fucking is really inspiring, man. Especially this fucking clip right here of Evo. I made a whole video about this set right here of him versus Tekken Master where he takes the fucking hat off. But yeah, shout out to Sonic. I got a lot of respect. And honestly, if it wasn't for him, who knows if I would have kept playing MKX, really.
Ooh, and Sonic. Whoa! Whoa! I don't think we've ever seen that before.
We have
Yikes!
Never. We're seeing
Oh man!
bare-headed human Sonic Fox.
I thought his brain would be exposed there.
Looking all too human right now.
Wow!
I'm trying to speak. I just drunk a Sprite, so my salivation levels are super thick and fucking sticky. But this is I'm editing the video right now, and as I was speaking about Sonic, I just was thinking about all the other cool pro players I left out. So I want to give a shout out to all those players that also inspired me to keep playing this game at that time. First and foremost, Honeybee. Gotta shout out Honeybee, man. Honeybee, I actually was a Devora main, and another thing I forgot to include in this video is when I first started playing this game, man, I hopped on and I met a guy named like JX some shit. I would have to go look at my old fucking Xbox friends list. But that dude, okay, forgot my door was open, just blasted everything I said in the past minute to all my neighbors. So that's cool. 4 in the morning, by the way. But yeah, I met this dude online, and another thing I gotta give NetherRealm credit for is they give you voice chat online. I don't know why no other fighting game does this. It's so stupid. But you can meet a lot of cool people through voice chat. You can meet a lot of toxic people too, but dude, I was a little kid, and this grown-ass man I met on there took me into like practice mode online, which is another thing NetherRealm has a lot of other games don't have. And he just fucking coached me up, man, and that was fucking sick as hell. This is a long ass story, but the point is, he was teaching me to play Devora, and I remember he was like, at some point, he was like, yeah, man, I don't even really know what to tell you, man. I don't know much about Devora. And it's funny because nobody played Devora, but that's what made Honeybee so cool is he took the character no one played, he made it work, he made it cool. It was inspiring. Shout out to Honeybee. Honeybee's brother, Biohazard. Shout out to him. He played all the big boys. He was really fun to watch as well. Gurr. Gotta shout out Gurr. Who's the dude that played Sonya Blade all the time? Scar. Scar was the guy in MKX, man. His Sonya was something else. So shout out to Scar as well. Yeah, I guess my little nerd rant's over. Sorry about that. But I just wanted to give all these players their props, because not only Sonic, but this whole competitive scene was really cool to watch at the time, and it holds a special place in my heart, and I got a lot of respect for those guys, so someone's got to give them their flowers. I'll do it. Boom.
Aww.
This dude was a back-to-back Evo champion for this game, 2015 and 2016. And if you play NetherRealm games, you know their fucking shelf life is about 2 years. So in other words, Sonic Fox ran this video game. I mean, if you were around at the time, it was a spectacle to see. But I ain't gonna keep glazing Sonic. I'm sure you're all familiar with how fucking nutty he is at fighting games. Point is though, man, this game's competitive scene really did it for me. I don't want to really cover the story too much. The story was good in this game, though, in my opinion. That's why I don't really want to cover it, though. Everybody has their own little take on the story. Some people hate the MK story. Some people love it. I'm really indifferent about it. You know, I'm an online warrior. I'm not really big in the lore. I don't particularly care. I think NetherRealm does a better job with the stories than any other fighting game company. So, you know, hating on them is a little weird for it, but whatever. The crypt in this game was okay. It was just like a jump scare fest. I think they did it better than MK11's crypt, though. Call me crazy, I think MK1 did it the best with invasions. But this is how you get your loot in this game. You go around opening these fucking chests. Spider pop out every now and again. Ah, spider. This game had a lot of cosmetics. I'm pretty sure this is the first game they made that had like DLC cosmetics in it. And I know MK1 is flooded with it, right? But this game was the first one to do it, and no one really complained. The skins were pretty cheap at the time. Yeah, there's some pretty cool outfits. One of my favorites is the fucking completely blonde you infrared scorpion. Yeah, this shit's really cool and was allowed, you know, in ranked play. Banned in tournaments, though, of course. Just a great, great cast of characters. The neutral in this game feels great. The footsies feel great. The stages are great. The stage interactions are great. A big fix from Injustice 1 where there was a ton of unblockables. This game did it, I think, pretty much perfectly, really, with the interactions. This game and Injustice 2 did. The customizations are a little lacking compared to future games, like they don't have all the gear sets like Injustice 2 or something like that, but like I said, what outfits they do give you in this game are nice, and you could always press start on your outfit to get the alternate outfit, which is just like a slightly different colorway, but still cool to have in the game. Pretty sure this is the first NetherRealm game to allow you to do first to 2 sets, so that was pretty cool as well. Pretty good change by them. This is the first NetherRealm game that had rollback in it, which is also NetherRealm. You got to give them credit. They've been pushing the envelope with putting rollback in their games before other companies, so got to give credit where credit's due there as well. And then I remember this game just kind of being a little bit of a broken mess towards the end. I remember Sonic Fox won that last Evo using Acidic Alien. Everybody was like, what the fuck has this game come to? But then they dropped the MKXL patch, and what that patch did is it fixed, honestly, it balanced this game out. Like, a lot of it was still fun, but it really just made it more of what you would consider a viable competitive fighting game, you know what I mean? It took away armored launchers, which I think was a great change. We didn't really need armored launchers. Unfortunately, it really stifled dash cancel characters like Devora and Jax because of the new sprint changes and how much stamina it consumes. So not every change was really a great change in my opinion, but overall I think the MKXL patch, which was like the final patch for this game, I think it fixed a lot of what you would consider the problems with this game. I often ask myself, what if I still liked MKX if I played it now? As the human I am now, like if I played it for the first time, would I like that game or am I blinded by nostalgia? Well, I've hopped back on MKX multiple times. When I'm bored, you know, I'm like, fuck it. Let me go see what MKX is talking about. I'll hop on my trimmer. I still remember all my combos. You know, my neutral's complete ass anymore. And honestly, yeah, I think the game's held up pretty well. It feels pretty fun still. It's hard to say if I would have loved it if I played it nowadays because I'm much more familiar with fighting games. I'm much more familiar with what I like and don't like. But I would go on a limb here and say, even through all the time, if MKX dropped in its MKXL state right now today, it would still be the greatest Mortal Kombat game of all time. Am I partly blinded and biased by nostalgia? Duh. Who gives a friggin' flying heck?